When the road trip started 5 days ago, the ball was in the hand of Cole Hamels. From there, the starting staff took the mound and has taken every game along the way from Georgia to Missouri. 5 games, 5 wins in the books, and the Phillies are finding a little gold at the end of the rainbow. No need to do a double take. When you woke up this morning, you saw that the Phillies were 3.5 games out of the National League East. They had won 5 straight ball games. And today they go for win number 6 in a row to start this road trip. In fact, it's no longer starting the trip. It's the trip as a whole. They've been outstanding, and they're 4 games from the 500 mark. During this 5-game winning streak, the Phillies have hit .288. They're averaging 6 runs per game. That's huge. But the starting pitchers and the bullpen have really helped carry this team along with their defense. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with Jamie Moyer. The Phillies are in the midst of their longest winning streak here in 2014. They hope it continues today with left-hander Cole Hamels on the mound, who's also in the middle of a long scoreless streak, which is a great indication on how well he's pitching.
Yeah, Cole's pitching very, very well. And not to belittle Cole's pitching efforts, but this scoreless streak has also been created by the great defense that the Phillies have been playing behind him. And here you see his current scoreless inning streak is 23 2/3 innings. It's just phenomenal what Cole has been able to do since he's come back from the beginning of the season when he was on the DL.
Well, he seems to be getting stronger and stronger. His last start, he was outstanding against the Braves. He left with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, he did leave with a 1-0 lead and pitched very well. And you see in these highlights, a lot of his pitches were down early. He got a few outs up. And then as he got through the game, he got some balls in and he got some balls away. And that's where his effectiveness has been. He hasn't stayed in one place to get his outs, but he's getting more of his outs down this year.
And it wasn't that there was no tension at all. I mean, this was a pretty tense moment right here where he gets the double play to wrap it up.
And again, here's where confidence allows him to get out of these jams. He just makes his pitches, continue to focus on execution and make his pitches, and relies on his defense.
All right, well, he had to also rely on his bullpen to finish off that ball game because, as we mentioned, the Phillies had the lead when he left. The Braves tied it, and they wound up winning it in extra innings. So he'll go after the team's 6th consecutive victory here this afternoon. It'll be Cole Hamels against Adam Wainwright. This will be the 3rd time that these two guys have matched up against each other. One guy starting for the 12th time, the other guy starting for the 15th time. And we'll talk about Adam Wainwright, who missed his last start because of tendonitis in his elbow. We'll talk about him when we get back. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank, introducing One Deposit Checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Budweiser. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phillies. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. against Adam Wainwright. They have matched up before against each other, and it's basically been a draw between the two. Wainwright won one. Hamels and the Phillies won the other one. That was a couple years ago here in St. Louis. Adam Wainwright, Jamie, we said this is a premier pitching matchup. Well, Wainwright, over his last 113 starts, look at that win-loss record.
It's phenomenal, the numbers that he's been able to create here over the last 4 seasons. A ton of starts. Win-loss record is great. ERA is phenomenal. Opponent's batting average is superb. And innings, 771 innings. This is you're seeing a horse here today.
Well, it's an average of about 190 innings per season. Now, he did miss his last start because of tendonitis in his elbow, but prior to that, it didn't look like he had tendonitis in his elbow.
No, and here's a guy that's got 6 pitches. He doesn't use all the pitches equally, but he can come at you in so many different ways. He can hard, off speed. He's got a split. He's got a changeup. He's got a cutter, a curveball. I mean, it's phenomenal what he does. In his last 4 starts versus the Phillies, he's pitched very, very well with a 2-0 record and a great ERA. Opponent's batting average is a little above his average, and he's averaging 7 innings to start, and he's very stingy giving up home runs.
All right, we shall see if the Phillies' winning streak will continue this afternoon with Cole Hamels on the mound. Coming up, lineups and first pitch from St. Louis. This morning, but that's there's not much cloud cover right now, and the players are making all the adjustments that they need to make to get ready for this ball game. Both starting pitchers have finished up their warm-up tosses. They've made their way into their respective dugouts, and we're just waiting for Adam Wainwright to give the high sign for the Cardinals to take the field. The Cardinals come into this ball game 4 games over 500. The Phillies, meanwhile, come into this ball game 4 games under 500, but they are the hottest team right now. Well, in the National League East, definitely. And from a standing standpoint, they're 3 games out of second place and 3.5 games behind the Atlanta Braves, who are sitting atop the division, 3 games over 500 at 38 and 35. There's been, obviously during this winning streak, there have been a lot of positives, but the winning streak of 5 games is only scratching the surface. The Phillies are 9-2 in their last 11 games, and that's part of the reason why they've been able to go from 11 under 500 to 4 under 500 in a very short period of time. Well, Adam Wainwright is given the high sign. Here he comes, heading out to the mounds of the dead sprint. The umpires, of course, have taken the lineup cards. They're going to go out to their respective positions. Now, we're just a few moments away from the start of this ball game. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Your home for the most live sports. It'll be Jimmy Rollins leading off at shortstop. Carlos Ruiz batting second. Chase Utley third, followed by Ryan Howard and Marlon Byrd. Dominic Brown's in left field. He'll bat sixth. John Mayberry, look what he's done his last 23 games played. That's why he's out in center field. Ben Revere is fine today, but Mayberry's the hot hand. Cody Ashley will bat eighth, and Cole Hamels will hit ninth, and they'll face right-hander Adam Wainwright. Wainwright, 32 years old. One of the best trades the Cardinals could have made was getting him from the Atlanta Braves. He's second in the league in wins with 9 behind Alfredo Simon of the Reds. And he's already at Jamie, 100 innings pitched, 100 1/3.
Well, again, it shows you, and he's missed a start. So, I mean, it shows you the kind of horse that he is. And, you know, all of his numbers are outstanding. And here, part of our Budweiser scouting report, we're going to see, I'm going to give you averages as far as velocities. A fastball at 90, a curveball at 74, a slider at 86, a cutter at 86, and a changeup and a split both at 82. And he's got a 4-1 career record with a 2.41 ERA versus the Phillies.
Well, the Phillies lineup has seen him plenty from top to bottom. In fact, the only guy that hasn't seen him is Cody Ashe.
Time for our Nissan keys of the game, and our first key is play their way into contention, and the Phillies are doing that right now with the way they're playing, and hopefully they can keep this torrid pace up. The second key is for Hamels to continue to pitch like a leader, and I think, you know, Cole has kind of set the precedent not only for himself but the rest of the pitching staff, and they're following his lead.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the Phillies haven't won more of his games because he's pitched well enough to have a much better win-loss record than he has right now. Jimmy Rollins will lead things off, and the first pitch of the day is taken up high. It's 1-0. Rollins has hit in 14 consecutive games. He has 2,240 career hits at his average of 246 for the season. Inside, 2-0.
You know, my first thought today with Adam Wainwright with his extra day off, if he's going to be a little bit too strong here early in the game, you have to try to keep an eye on it.
When he has 6 days rest or more, he usually is pretty good, but the reason he has this much time is because he has some tendonitis in his elbow. And he said the other day, he said, the feeling I had last game was incredibly annoying. After throwing my bullpen session, I don't have that feeling anymore.
I'm not sure if I understand what annoying is.
I thought maybe you would as a pitcher, but
I've never heard of that terminology. The feeling annoying.
Feeling in his elbow is
the
annoying.
Feeling in his elbow. I thought maybe the gnats were flying around him.
They're still here. Rollins pops up the 3-1. He may have gone after ball 4. Adams, the first baseman, in foul territory. Jimmy's already walking back to the dugout. 1 out here in the first. And that'll bring Carlos Ruiz to the plate. Mentioned Wainwright is 32 years old. He has 108 wins and 60 losses during his big league career. He was a former first-round selection of the Atlanta Braves in 2000. He was the 29th pick overall that season. And the Cardinals somehow hoodwinked the Braves into trading him over to St. Louis for J.D. Drew and Eli Marrero. Although Drew was decent for the Braves and for his couple of seasons there. 0-2 to Ruiz. Carlos hitting .280, 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in. And a curveball inside, 1-2.
I think anytime you can make a trade and get a player like Adam Wainwright in return, it's a big time trade, and you see how the Cardinals have reaped the benefits right there. To a great cutter to Carlos, down and away for a strikeout looking.
Yeah, Carlos thought that was a little too far down. Let's take a look.
Here you see a cutter. Look, yeah, it does look like it's below the zone. Never looked like it was in the strike zone, but again, with Molina behind the plate, that helps too.
Well, the career leaders as far as winning percentage goes, Wainwright is 5th with Ted Wilkes leading the way. John Tudor, boy, he was a good left-hander with a .705 winning percentage. Utley takes strike 1. Utley's hit in 4 straight games. His average at .305, 5 home runs, 23 runs batted in. Inside, 1-1. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is John Vay of Slatington. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, and John will win $100. one's looped out towards center field. Borges won't make the play, and Utley's aboard with a 2-out single. Chase's 4th hit of the series. It'll give Ryan Howard a chance to bat here in the 1st. Howard doesn't have bad numbers against Adam Wainwright. He's hitting .294 against the Cardinals right-hander. 14 home runs, 50 runs batted in so far this year. He's among the top 10 in both categories.
We'll see how Wainwright goes after Ryan here with Chase on first base. He started everybody off so far with the fastball. See if he starts Ryan off with the fastball or something off speed.
He does start him off with a fastball, and it's a strike. It's 0-1.
Actually, it was the best fastball of the day at 92.
No balls, 1 strike to Howard. Ryan late on an 89-mile-an-hour, I guess, cutter, and it's 0-2. Mark Ellis, the second baseman, is in shallow right field. Sometimes the opposition makes some adjustments when there's a base runner. No real adjustment here for the Cardinals.
Tried to throw him a curveball there to get him to chase it in the dirt. I like the way he's coming after him with a high fastball, high cutter, now a curveball in the dirt. Probably going to go somewhere, something away or something running into him. Looks like something running into him.
Well, it didn't run all the way, and now it's 2-2. Mentioned that Wainwright is second in the league in wins with 9. Simon of the Reds has 10. Zach Greinke is tied with Wainwright with those 9 victories. He's also second in earned run average. Johnny Cueto leads the way at 1.92. And Howard is struck out. Side is retired. 2 strikeouts along the way for Wainwright. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We'll go to the bottom of the 1st. It's the Phillies 0. The Cardinals. Series. Let's take a look at Mike Matheny's starting lineup for today's ball game. Brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Matt Carpenter leads off at third base once again. Alan Craig is up to the 2-hole. Matt Holliday's in left field. He'll bat third. Yadier Molina, the cleanup hitter. Johnny Peralta's at shortstop. He'll bat fifth. Matt Adams sixth. Peter Borges, the center fielder, will bat seventh. Mark Ellis will hit eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is Wainwright, and they'll face Phillies left-hander Cole Hamels. Hamels 2-3 with an earned run average of 2.78, making his 12th start. 76 strikeouts in 74 and a third innings of work. You mentioned, Jamie, that the way he's pitched, he probably should have more than 2 wins, but that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, sometimes you don't always get the run support that you would like or that you need, but you need to continue to pitch, and that's what Cole's doing. And I think if he continues to pitch this way, you know, that win-loss number will change. Here's our Budweiser scouting report on Cole Hamels. We're going to see really about 91-mile-an-hour fastball for average. Curveball is 77, cutters 88, changeup's at 83. And the cool thing is he's got this 23 2/3 inning scoreless streak hanging on him right now. Hopefully he can add to this today.
Well, he's an inning and a third shy of his individual mark. And it's 1 strike to Matt Carpenter. Carpenter hitting .284, 3 homers, 27 runs batted in, 1 for 5 so far in this series. 1 strike. Fly ball foul. And it's 1-2. Cardinals wearing a little different uniform here today, sort of the throwback uniforms with St. Louis across the front. Still with the two Cardinals perched on a bat. A little bit of a cream colored uniform. And a call, strike 3. One away here in the bottom of the first. Strikeout number 77 for Cole Hamels, whose next milestone will be his 1600th strikeout.
Here you see a cutter. I think Carpenter thought that pitch was high, and we saw some pitches in the top of the first inning that were called strikes up there too.
What did that tell you, Jamie? That'll tell you to swing the bat today, boys.
That's right. It's a warm day. Get up there, swing the bat. We're going to use the whole zone today. I like that, top to bottom.
Alan Craig is the hitter, batting second today. Craig takes a strike.
And Larry Vanover behind the plate usually does a pretty good job. He's usually pretty consistent.
He is the crew chief of this umpiring crew, as you saw earlier. Little tapper foul. It's 0-2. That ball got a piece, it sounded, of Carlos Ruiz. 92 degrees on the first day of summer. Jamie, I want you to utilize the entire day. It's the longest day of the year. You can have as much sunshine as you want.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Maybe go fishing after the game.
We go fishing. 0-2 pitch. Ground ball back toward the middle. A base hit for Craig. A 1-out single. There's a big old river just a couple blocks away from here.
Yes, there is.
That'll bring Matt Holliday to the plate. Holliday has 2 hits so far in this series and has 2 hits in his career against Hamels. All right, the first 2 games of this series, we've seen a couple of double play balls that have helped out the Phillies starter early on. Let's see if the Phillies can get another one here. There we go. Ground ball to short. Rollins flips to second for 1. Over to first. A 6-4-3 double play.
Nice call, Tom.
Bat was shattered every which way. So for the 3rd consecutive first inning, the Phillies pitchers get a double play here in the first. We'll go to the second in a scoreless game.
St. Louis. Phillies and Cardinals 0-0. And guys, we are not that far away, just a couple of weeks away from the Midsummer Classic, the Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. Still a little bit more time to vote. So let's take a look at the National League ballot as it stands right now. And right now, Yadier Molina still leading in the catcher's position. Paul Goldschmidt at first, but that race is tight. Chase Utley is leading at second and starting to run away with it. Tulowitzki at shortstop. David Wright at third. Puig and McCutchen and Stanton are your outfield as it stands right now for the National League. In the American League, things look pretty much the same as they did about a week ago. Mike Trout, Melky Cabrera, Jose Bautista is your outfield. Derek Jeter still leading the way at shortstop. Matt Wieters, who is on the disabled list, still the leader at catcher. And here you see Nelson Cruz, who's having a great year for Baltimore, is your DH leader. And just a reminder that Sunday night on ESPN, they will reveal the latest update on the American League. And on Monday night, guys, we will reveal the latest on the National League. That's all for the Midsummer Classic that's coming up, guys.
Well, it's nice to see that Chase Utley is padding his lead at second base.
That one's pretty much a lock. I think Chase and Troy are...
Oh, you're calling it, Hummer?
Well, you know, they're calling it almost. MLB is saying that it's going to be hard to catch those guys. So I'll believe what they say. That doesn't mean fans should stop voting, though.
No, fans should keep on voting. No balls and 2 strikes to Marlon Byrd. Byrd hitting .268 with 12 home runs. He takes outside. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. And of course, Wieters, even if he's voted in, they'll obviously make a selection for someone else to start for the American League. But I think his plan is to attend the All-Star game in Minnesota. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. Swing and a miss, and Byrd is struck out. Marlins in one of those flows right now where he is striking out at a pretty good pace. So 3rd strikeout already for Wainwright. And that'll bring Dominic Brown to the plate.
Marlins saw a pretty steady diet of breaking pitches right there. And again, when you're seeing a team for 3 and 4 times in a series, not everybody can pitch the hitters the same way. So they're attacking him a little differently.
Dominic Brown is the batter. Brown 1 for 6 so far in this series. And it's over for a strike. 0-1. Dominic's had a good road trip. He's hitting .300 on the road trip. 6 for 20. And softly back to the mound. 2 quick outs for Wainwright. And John Mayberry will take his time walking up to the plate. I mentioned that Big John is in the lineup again today, and it's partly because of what he's done over the last 3 weeks. Ben Revere is fine. Ben went through an overwhelming amount of drills today, and his knee is fine to get back into the lineup if Ryan Sandberg wants to use him. But he's decided to stay with Mayberry, who had a couple hits in last night's ball game. Overall hitting only .256, but has been able to drive in some runs. Got 11 RBIs here in the month of June.
Yeah, he's gotten some key hits for the Phillies during the course of the season, which have been big. Whether it's been off the bench or playing as a utility guy, I think he's done a fine job.
Well, and the Rev, as his teammates like to call him, Ben Revere, has been used as a pinch hitter the last couple of nights. He may even be used, if not as a pinch hitter, as a pinch runner today. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike. Looks like they're calling for a fastball. And that's what it was. And it's outside. 3-1. It was the ball's fault. Wainwright's getting a new ball. It's always the ball's fault, Jamie.
Well, sometimes the ball just doesn't feel right. You handle a lot of them during the course of an outing, and not do. A lot of times, you get a ball and it just doesn't feel right. And for me, it was just get rid of it, or you don't feel any. I'd like to feel the seams.
Well, that one looked a little bit better for Wainwright. That is, it's 3-2.
But there's tricks too. I mean, there's been times when early in my career there were some pretty good hitters out there that when a pitcher would throw a ball back, they kind of felt that they were looking for a ball with seam, so they were looking for a breaking ball the next pitch.
Just trying to outguess the other guy.
It happens. I mean, but it's really ingenious that people have thought about that. How many times have you thought about a pitcher throwing over to a base, and the next time they go to the plate, they steal on the next pitch? So it's almost sometimes tips you off as a base runner.
Or when a coach goes out to the mound and talks to even a young pitcher, as a hitter, you're thinking, all right, he's going to throw me a cookie right here. He's going to throw me a fastball. Get me over fastball, and I'm going to be ready to swing.
Well, it happens. It happens. But yeah, you think of so many things that happen during the course of a game, and if you're not really paying attention, you don't see it, some of the little nuances.
Another one back to the mound. All right, so Wainwright has 3 strikeouts in the first 2 innings, and he also has 2 assists. So it's been a pretty easy first 2. We'll be back for the bottom of the second after this. Miami Marlins. It's a 4-game series. All 4 games are at 7:05. The series kicks off with the final scheduled Hatfield Dollar Dog Night of 2014. And prior to the ball game, the Phillies will honor Jimmy Rollins, becoming the all-time hits leader in Phillies history. So we want you to be in your seats at about 6:45 on Monday night. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Here's Yadier Molina. He'll take a strike. It's 0-1. Molina hitting .288 with 6 home runs and 26 runs batted in. I know where you can go after the game, Jamie. Look at that roller coaster behind Yadier Molina. Ready? See Molina's numbers: 6 for 21 against Hamels, 3 doubles, 5 RBIs. Look at that roller coaster.
Ooh. I don't think my stomach would take that.
Really?
The loop-de-loop.
Yeah.
You like roller coasters?
I do.
Good for you.
Yeah. Want to go up there? That'll be a roller coaster up on the arch. I've never taken the trip up there. I understand it's very confined, though. And it's I don't know if I could do it.
I'll wave to you from the ground. I'll take a picture of you when you get up there.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Molina. Outside, 3-2. Molina was toward the bottom shouldn't say toward the bottom, but he wasn't in the middle of the order in the first couple of games of this series. This is the first time this year that he's batting cleanup. He's hit in 5 straight ball games. He's aboard with the first walk of the day by Hamels. Well, speaking of Monday night, the tribute to Jimmy Rollins, Monday on Comcast Sportsnet. Watch as surprise guests honor J-Roll in a pregame celebration. Then watch the Phillies take on the Marlins, game 1 of a 4-game series. That's Monday starting at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Full coverage of the pregame ceremony on Phillies Pregame Live. Johnny Peralta's the batter. A little low, 1 ball and no strikes. Peralta with 10 home runs, 27 runs batted in. His 10 homers lead the Cardinals. So much for the wide strike zone. Vanover saying that was off the plate.
Looks like it might be more up and down today as far as the strike zone goes than east and west.
We were talking about a couple pitches early in the first 2 games, particularly Friday night. Angel Hernandez heard something from the Phillies dugout. I thought both umpires these first 2 nights have done a nice job behind the plate.
They have. They've been very consistent. Adrian, I thought maybe last night missed a couple pitches in the latter part of the game that could have gone for AJ. Did not get called.
AJ Burnett, the complete game last night, the 24th of his career. Today, when he came into the dugout, sunglasses on. How you feeling? Sore, old.
Been there, done that. I know that feeling, but it's a good feeling. It's a good soreness.
3 strikeouts last night. Continued to talk about his changeup and how important that was, just as he told Murph during the postgame interview.
Yeah, I chatted with him a little bit this morning. He looked at me and started smiling. He said, "I'm stubborn." And I said, "Well, I hope you learned a lesson, because that's a great pitch for you." And he also realized too that, hey, I don't have to pitch a good game. I don't have to have a lot of strikeouts.
3-1 pitch. That one's hit past Cody Ashley down the left field line. Dominic Brown will make the play to third to try to get Molina. It's offline. It'll be a double for Peralta. 19th double of the year. So a little trouble for Cole Hamels here in the bottom of the second. I couldn't tell which way Dominic Brown was going to go with that. Whether he was going to go to second to try to get Peralta or to third to try to get the very slow Yadier Molina.
I honestly think he came up looking at third. Here's the ball hits off the short wall there and jumps out. Dominic picks it up barehanded. I think at first he looked third, then he thought second, and then it was back to third.
All right, so the Phillies have played the infield back. They'll concede a run to try to get the out here. Hamels' scoreless streak is at 24 2/3. Matt Adams is the batter. Adams with 23 runs batted in. Swing and a miss. It's 0-1.
Look at this inning. This inning started off with a walk. We've seen that come back to haunt the Phillies this year at many a times in the first 2 months of the season.
Oh, 0-2 to Matt Adams, who's batting just .140 against lefties. The 0-2 pitch. Fly ball right field. Marlon Byrd over toward the line. Makes the catch. Tagging from third is Molina. I think he left too early. The throw is cut off by Howard. And the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead. I may be wrong. But I think Molina, and it may have been an optical illusion, I don't think the Phillies are going to appeal it in any way. So the scoreless streak is over for Hamels, 24 2/3. And now Peter Borges is the batter, with the Cardinals on top 1-0. A sac fly for Matt Adams. And Borges takes it side. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Borges is hitting .210 with 2 home runs, 11 runs batted in. And he bunts in front of the plate. Ruiz looks the runner back to third, fires to first in time. 2-3 on the putout, and they're 2 away.
I actually thought that when he walked to the plate.
Well, he's a good bunter.
He's a very good bunter.
He leads the Cardinals in bunt hits. Well, now it's Mark Ellis who's coming up, so the Phillies will try to get out of this inning by being careful with Ellis and getting him. If not, Wainwright is in the on-deck circle for Peralta at third.
I think when Borges tried to bunt that ball just hit the dirt and spun.
Well, and it's pretty wet down in front of the plate, so anything that's hit in that area, it's not hit hard, is going to die. At least it looks that way. Ellis takes pitch low, 1 ball and no strikes. Ellis last year played for the Dodgers. This year hitting .184 with no homers and 10 runs batted in. One ball, 1 strike. That dirt we're talking about now, it's pretty warm outside. We said 92 degrees, so that's going to dry up pretty quick. It's not as soft as it seemed before the ball game. Ellis fouls it back. It's 2-2.
Well, the other part of that, sometimes, you know, when that wet spot in front of home plate, sometimes they soften it up with some rakes where they make it really soft, especially when you're facing a team that hits a lot of ground balls. I don't know exactly how the Cardinals do it here, but I've been on some teams where if you get a ground ball pitcher, as you're the home team and you have a ground ball pitcher, that's going to be really soft in front of home plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Ellis. Off the end of the bat, fouls it away. Larry Vanover just yelled over to Brian Sandberg saying that pitch was down. Hamels, of course, thought that was right there. He was walking off the mound. He wasn't alone. But he'll go back to work with the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Mark Ellis.
Also on 21 pitches this inning versus 8 in the first inning.
And he's obviously on a couple of different pitches, not on the same page with the home plate umpire.
And this is the type of at bat you can get from a Mark Ellis. He's very good. He knows the strike zone. He knows what he can and can't do as a hitter, and he does. I've noticed, especially versus the left-handed pitcher, he gives you a very, very good at bats.
Well, he just called time because There's some moths still down there. There's not as many as last night, but there are some. There's still some moths that are floating around. 3-2 pitch and a call, strike 3. Side is retired. The Cardinals do score a run. Well, you might be right, JV. It might be a high strike zone tonight. Phillies trail at 1-0 as we go to the third. Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. That was a great shot there. The Fanatic lined up with the Yadier Molina. On February 25th, 1972, the Cardinals traded Steve Carlton to the Phillies, Jamie, for what player? You were a Phillies fan growing up. 1972, the Cardinals traded Steve Carlton to the Phillies for what player? We'll reveal the answer a little later on in the telecast. 1-0. Cardinals on top. We go to the top of the third inning. We mentioned this last night as far as shutdown innings go from a team standpoint. The Cardinals were at the top. Well, one of the reasons why is because they've got Lance Lynn and Adam Wainwright 1-2 in the National League. And also Michael Wacha, who is number 5. Cole Hamels is among the leaders too.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Shelby Miller was somewhere in the mid to upper 83, 85% the other night when he pitched.
Cody Ashe will lead it off here in the top of the third. Ashe had some good swings in last night's ball game. Nothing to show for it. 1 ball and no strikes. Ashe hitting .250, 4 homers, 18 runs batted in. And he loops that one out towards center. That'll drop for a base hit. Oh, isn't that the way baseball is? You smoke the ball a handful of times in one game. You got nothing to show for it. Then you throw a little bloop out there, and you got a base hit.
They made a good pitch, and Cody fought it off and pushed it into short, shallow center field. And I think that really shows you how well he's been swinging the bat coming off of rehab.
Here's Hamels up there in the bunting situation. Third baseman Carpenter is way in on the grass. Forget about a bunting situation. He pulls it through the hole on the right side. It was a hit and run. And the Phillies have runners on first and third with nobody out. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
You watch, I guarantee you if Wainwright faces Cole again with somebody on base, he will not throw him a first pitch fastball. Unless it's elevated or borderline strike. Yep. The hit and run on here. And when you can handle the bat as a pitcher, it gives your manager a lot more opportunity to do things like that.
Well,
so
you're really taking a chance too, and it pays off. Now it brings the top of the order up with nobody out, runners on first and third. So the Phillies have something cooking here at the top of the third. Rollins popped out his first time up. First pitch is outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
Give Ryan Sandberg a lot of credit for that play right there. It takes some guts to do that with your pitcher, but knowing your personnel, knowing how well guys are going right now offensively, I think it's a great call.
Fly ball right center field. This will tie the ball game up. Borges out toward the warning track, makes the catch. Tagging from third is Ashe. He'll score, and it's a 1-1 game. RBI number 29 for Jimmy Rollins. Ball carried pretty well. Well, next Friday, the Phillies will continue their homestand, and this time the Atlanta Braves will be in town. It's a 4-game series, 4 games in 3 days. A day-night doubleheader on Saturday the 28th, 2:05 and 7:15. On Sunday the 29th, all fans 14 and under will receive the Dominic Brown jersey, compliments of the Rothman Institute. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com.
So much for that shutdown inning. Nice.
So much for it being a high strike zone. No balls and 1 strike to Ruiz. But this is, this is the way the Phillies have gone too. They've answered if a team has taken the lead as Ruiz is hit by that pitch at some point in the ball game on this road trip, and they've answered on a couple of occasions in a big way. Think about the 3rd game against Atlanta and even last night's ball game.
Yeah, it's when you're going good. I mean, this is what you do. You find a way. You're down, you find a way. You're ahead. So you're going to get a great defensive play. You're going to get a great pitching performance, whether it's your starter out of your bullpen. That's how you win baseball games. You get contributions from everybody, and that's what the Phillies are getting right now. All 25 guys are contributing.
Well, Utley singled his first time up. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Utley has reached base safely now in 25 games here at New Busch Stadium. Making Wainwright work a little bit here in the top of the 3rd. Ground ball foul past Samuel, and it's 1-1. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. Bottom of the 2nd, the Reds, they lead at 3-0. 3-run first inning. They're leery, though. It's not enough. They're going to need 15 to make it comfortable today against the Blue Jays. Last night's comeback was unbelievable. It was 8-0 Reds at one point. Edwin Encarnacion hit one of the longer home runs you're going to see.
When it gets hot in that ballpark, ball really carries.
Dudley fouls another one off, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I can't believe that Cincinnati ballpark is one of the more hitter-friendly ballparks in the National League.
Yeah.
Remember my last start with Colorado, I gave up a home run on where the bat broke in half to left field.
Well, they used to say that, and I never saw a game at Riverfront Stadium. They used to say the ball jumped out of that ballpark a little bit too.
Yeah, it did. When you had the AstroTurf and it was a cement, pretty much, kind of like Veterans Stadium.
Sure.
Built with a lot of cement and a lot of heat and humidity, and you had that AstroTurf where the heat just permeated off that turf. And they had a shorter wall there as well. And as you recall, outfielders going up over top of that wall to steal some home runs.
Utley grounds one toward the hole, and Ellis is able to track it down and throws him out. The runners move up. That'll put runners on second and third with 2 men down. And Ryan Howard will be the batter. He struck out his first time up. Well, Ryan has come through on this road trip. Let's see if he can come through here. He's third in the National League in RBIs with 50. Giancarlo Stanton leads the way with 57. They do have the overshift on. 3 infielders on the right side. Way inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Now, if we were in Atlanta, they would walk him intentionally. Marlon Byrd on deck.
They might be kind of pitching around him right here. So, with based on these first 2 pitches, he goes on the fastball in for the first pitch, and that was a cutter that was in. It's telling me we're going to pitch you in. We don't want to let you get your arms extended, or we're going to try to pitch around you to load the bases to face Marlon Byrd.
Curveball, and it's 2-1. Now that pitch would still lead you to believe that they are being careful with him.
Very much so. Again, if he's going to chase it, I don't know, strike or non-strike, but he swung at it, so it was a strike.
That one's pulled softly to the right side, handled by the third baseman Carpenter. At the side is retired. 5-3 on the putout. Phillies do get a run to tie it up on a sac fly by Jimmy Rollins, but they leave 2, and we'll go to the bottom of the third. Took the first 2 ball games. They've won 5 in a row. They're tied up at 1 here at Busch Stadium. Cole Hamels has gotten that 1 run back after allowing the run in the bottom of the second. And speaking of run support, here's Hamels in our Geico quote of the day. The frame of mind I have is to eliminate runs on my end. You can't affect the amount of runs our team scores unless I'm hitting home runs, which isn't really going to happen. You just try to make it to the end and put up as many zeros as you can. Well, that's something I think that Cole has learned as his career has unfolded. And Murph, I think for any starting pitcher, it's difficult to get past run support because there's some guys that get a lot and some guys that don't.
and it's hard to put your finger on why, and whether it's going to be your year or not. We've seen it go both ways for Cole Hamels, but you're right. I think it is something that he has learned over the years, and it was interesting, Tom. I spoke with both Kyle Kendrick and Adrian Burnett over the last 2 days and talked about how well the starting staff has done, and both of them said the exact same thing. They said it all starts with and has begun with Cole Hamels, and even though he didn't get the win the last time out, the way he pitched in Atlanta really kind of set the tone for this road trip, and the other guys have kind of stepped in and followed suit, and they wanted to point out that it really does begin with Cole. Take a look at this. Out of his last 44 starts, 33 of them have been quality starts, but the problem has been that run support, as you mentioned, just 3.3 runs per game for him in those 33 starts, and the Phil's record just 16 and 17 in those 33 starts. So run support has been a problem for Cole, but certainly he is pitching well.
Yeah, he's had more than 3 dozen games during his career where he's left with the lead, and the team hasn't been able to finish it off. Now that's partly run support because a lot of those are low scoring, and partly bad luck. But Jamie, you know Cole, you pitched with him, you know how he's kind of evolved mentally as his career has moved on.
Yeah, and I think as his career has gone on, I think he's handled it far better than earlier in his career. And I think anybody, as a younger pitcher, it affects all of us. But I think as you grow and mature and understand that, hey, this really is part of the game, and you really have to let it go. Like Cole said, you have to let it go, because if you focus on that, you lose focus on what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, he's worked ahead, no balls and 1 strike to Matt Carpenter, who he struck out his first time up. Carpenter, since the 15th of May, has hit .318 for the Cardinals. He hasn't been bad against lefties. .294 against lefties, .280 against right-handers. Really burst onto the scene last year as a full-time starter and hit .318 with 199 hits. That was tops in the National League, and 55 doubles. Howard, a diving stop. He flips to Hamels, covering in time. 3-1 on the putout, 2 away. Couldn't get that ball out of his glove, but fortunately he was able to do so at the last moment.
Well, the ball was hit hard enough. It was a step and a dive from Ryan. You're right. He couldn't get that ball out of his glove, but he was in position, so when he got the ball out of his glove, he could make that backhand toss to Cole, and Cole was there at the bag in time. That's how you do it right there. Pitcher's got to get off the mound as soon as that ball's hit to his left.
So 2 quick outs, and Alan Craig, who singled his first time up, will be the batter.
Ryan had cat-like instincts right there.
Yeah, because that ball was hit so hard. I mean, he had to have cat-like instincts, but that was a heck of a play. He was still talking about that play that he was involved in last night offensively, that hit off the first baseman, hit off the pitcher, went back to the first baseman rolling. He was laughing. He said that's one of those that you're going to see for the rest of the baseball season, on how not to field a ball. He did say that he asked Larry Vanover if there was any kind of obstruction, interference by the fielder. You had alluded to that last night. And Larry Vanover said no, that the fielder still had the right to that area. And a called strike 3. Craig is down looking. 3 strikeouts for Hamels, and the Cardinals go down in order here in the 3rd. All right, so we're through 3 with this pitcher's duel. On to the 4th with Marlon Byrd. Older Pennsylvanians every day. Buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. Oh, inside the ballpark village here in St. Louis. That's just across the street. All part of the new setup here at Busch Stadium. They've been talking about it for years. The first couple of years, there was just a big old crater across the street. That's where the old stadium used to be. Then it was a parking lot, had a little playing field in it. But they always talked about having this village. And it looks great. And there's a lot of stuff going on inside there. From lunchtime all the way past bedtime. Marlon Byrd will lead it off here in the fourth. Marlon struck out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Popped up. Foul territory. Adams gives way to Ellis. Easier play for the second baseman. And that'll bring Dominic Brown to the plate. Wainwright missed his last scheduled start. As we mentioned, he had tendonitis in his elbow. And then he threw a 35, he said it was between 35 and 40 pitches bullpen session and felt fine. So that's why he was able to start here today. The Phillies arrived here in St. Louis. There was some question as to who today's starter was going to be, whether it be Wainwright or Carlos Martinez, who's actually going to start tomorrow. Certainly doesn't look like a guy that's having any arm problems right now.
Not at all. Not at all. Command of everything.
Back to the box again. Dominic Brown's been retired twice on 1-3 putouts. Is office hoarding a hobby of yours? Dymo LM160 label makers provide a million reasons to organize that mess. Get yours now for just $9.99. Available June only, exclusively from WB Mason.
Look at his batting average against with his curveball, his slider, and his cutter. Curveball's 157, slider's 196, and his cutter's 214. I mean, it's really easy to see why he's the effective pitcher he is and the numbers he puts up.
What about his fastball?
Batting average against his fastball is 239.
It's still low.
It is. It is. But after reading those, it almost seems high. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem right.
Well, and it's, I mean, his overall numbers, 199, 191 right-handers, 210 left-handers. I mean, that's absurd. 0-1 pitch to Mayberry.
Coming into today's game, he had 100 1/3 innings and only 72 hits given up with 21 walks. He's 93 base runners. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a whip that's less than 1. Mayberry lofts it out toward left. Matt Holliday, not the slickest fielder, was able to grab that one. It's a 7-pitch inning for Adam Wainwright. And we played 3.5. They botched the toss in. It's a 1-1 game. local Delaware Valley Honda dealer. Shop Honda.com. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. We're locked at a 1-1 game. This has been a pitcher's duel, as we expected, between Cole Hamels and Adam Wainwright. By the way, speaking of AT&T, it's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown at an upcoming game broadcast. And that is brought to you by AT&T. A warm summer afternoon here in St. Louis. Hope you're enjoying your weekend wherever you're watching Phillies baseball. Well, with Jamie Moyer, Greg Murphy, who I hope has sunblock on today because he is going to be red as a tomato if he doesn't. And even if he does, he's going to be red as a tomato. Matt Holliday will lead it off. Holliday grounded into a double play. His last time up, he's 0 for 1. Fastball, that's in there. It's 0-1. So the last two times that Hamels locked up against Wainwright, last April, Hamels received a no decision. Phillies lost that game 4-3. Hamels went 7 innings, allowed 5 hits and 3 runs, struck out 8. Prior to that, in 2010 here in St. Louis in July, Hamels went 8 innings. He allowed 1 hit, struck out 7. He didn't get a decision. Phillies didn't score any runs for him while he was out there. But they eventually won the game 2-0. Fouled that one right off his leg. 2-2.
Got a big leg hitch there. Right down off the inside of his foot. That's got to hurt. Not a lot of padding there with the shoe. On top of it, there's not a lot of padding under the skin. It's all bone. When you do that numerous times during the course of the season, it just doesn't always heal like you want it to.
They appeal the swing. He went around, says the first base umpire, Angel Campos. And Matt Holliday does not think that was a good call. 4 strikeouts for Hamels. Mike Matheny doesn't think that was a good call. Take a look, everybody.
Oh, most definitely.
I think he went too.
That's Cole's first strikeout swinging. The other 3 have been looking.
Watching it live, I didn't think he went. That angle right there, which is terrific, leads you to believe that, yeah, he did go. And Campos, if that's what he saw, it'd be hard for him not to say that he went around. 2-0 to Molina, who walked his first time up and then scored. And now 3-0. Outside, and Molina walks for the second time. Only 2 walks allowed by Hamels, both to the cleanup hitter. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. You can visit Phillies.com for more details.
Cole pitching very carefully to Yadier Molina. I think he's got a lot of respect for all the hitters, but respecting what Yadier can do as a hitter, and I think he does put some pretty good at bats together against left-handed pitching.
Out front of a changeup, 0-1. Yeah, it looked like he was trying to get him to fish on the outer part of the plate. He just wasn't biting, which we have seen Cole do to hitters more this year than in past years. Get them out on the outer part of the plate instead of trying to come in to the right-handed batters.
Yeah, he's gotten far more of his outs this year down and away versus in the past he's gotten more outs up and in. But up and in also has been a kind of a red zone for Cole. He's given up a lot of long fly balls, we'll call home runs, with pitches in there. And he hasn't, he's been quite stingy with the home run this year as well. So pitching a little differently this year.
Inside, 1-2.
Only giving up 4 home runs thus far this season, I think explains that.
Well, I guess when you miss inside, sometimes against the right-hander, you're going to miss into their nitro zone because it's not going to get far enough inside. If
you're missing inside, you're either missing off the plate or missing on the plate. He tended to miss on the plate and give up a lot of home runs. That's why, again, I think they taught him the cut fastball.
Broke his bat, looped out toward left field. Rollins on the run, makes the catch. And that bat went into oblivion. The head of the bat's out at shortstop.
That was right on cue. That was a nice cut fastball right there, all over Peralta's thumbs, and couldn't get enough of the bat to it. Only could get the handle to it. Couldn't fight it off. It's a great pitch right there. The location was very good. The bat barrel almost went to where Jimmy started at shortstop. The only thing that's a little troubling with that particular pitch, and I'm not saying Cole, in general, it's not as quick of a pitch as a 4-seam fastball in. So your bigger, stronger hitters sometimes don't have to get the barrel to it, and they can still get jammed and muscle that ball out of the infield. Whereas if you're throwing a 4-seam fastball, it's a little quicker and it gets to the handle a little quicker and it jams them. Wow.
Matt Adams takes, I guess, low, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Adams had a sac fly his first time up. Gave the Cardinals a 1-0 lead. Phillies tied it. And it's 2-0 to Adams. Now 3-0.
Interesting. Every pitch to Adams, all 6 pitches in these 2 at bats have been away. The fly ball he hit previous, the sac fly, was a changeup, and I want to say it was maybe middle in. He hasn't thrown him anything hard in yet.
Well, that's only the 6th walk for Adams in 231 plate appearances. For Hamels now, it's the 2nd walk of this inning. And the 3rd overall. That's not a lot of walks for the big guy. Jimmy Rollins and Ryan Howard giving Hamels a little bit of a breather. Borges tried to butt his way on his last time up and was retired by Ruiz. Cardinals got Borges from the Angels, and a lot of people thought that he would be the everyday center fielder for St. Louis. It hasn't turned out that way, and that's because John Jay, who's not playing today, surprisingly, and I say that because his numbers are so good against left-handed pitching, John Jay just basically won the job. 0-2 to Borges. Borges is fast. He's always been a very good defensive center fielder.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Peter's been able to get enough at bats to generate the type of player, the offensive player that he is. He can change a game.
0-2 pitch to him. Just a bit outside, 1-2. And a call, strike 3, a fastball right down the chute. 5 strikeouts for Hamels. He surprised Borges. He leaves 2. We've played 4. We'll go to the 5th inning. Cody Asher will lead it off. Scored their run in the 3rd. The Cardinals scored theirs in the 2nd. Time now for our cold hard fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Now, since May 14th, the Phillies have the best fielding percentage in the National League at .989 to go along with the fewest errors in that span. Currently, they've played 8 consecutive games without an error. That's kind of what Murph was talking about last night. How good their defense has been. And with our Hyundai defensive player of the game, Jamie, we saw that with Ryan Howard over at first base.
Yeah, Ryan off the bat on a tough ground ball, stepping a dive, gets up to his knees, fiddling around trying to get that ball. Cole gets over the bag. Great play on both sides. That is our defensive play of the game by Hyundai.
Well, now Cody Ashley will start things off. He started the rally when the Phillies scored in the 3rd. Ashley is 1 for 1. Big curveball. I always thought the curveball was Wainwright's best out pitch. But yeah. I guess he has so many other pitches that it's not just one anymore.
He doesn't use his changeup or his split that much, which I'm really surprised by.
Molina gives it a look and it's out of play.
Looks like he's got a cutter and a slider that he's fallen in love with.
This big guy, 6'7", 235 pounds. He and Carpenter sort of, well, they put together a heck of a 1-2 punch for the Cardinals for a few years. Little dribbler. That's 4 assists today for Wainwright on ground balls. I don't know if that tells any kind of a story. I guess it tells you that hitters are off balance, because most times when the balls hit back to the the middle. It's either a ball left out over the plate that's drilled back toward the middle, or what you just saw from Cody Ashen.
Yeah, and a lot of them are on breaking balls, so it tells me the hitters are swinging all over them and they're topping them right back to him.
Hamels out toward left center field. Borges on the run, still going back, reaches out, he can't get it. It's a ground rule double, and Hamels is in scoring position. He's 2 for 2. We saw that Geico quote of the day where Hamels said, can't really worry about the offense. It's not like he's out there hitting home runs. He came awfully close to a home run. Not as close as A.J. Burnett last night, but he now has 2 hits.
Well, he gave him a first pitch fastball, elevated, and Cole did exactly what he was supposed to do with it. Hit it hard and hit it far. Good swing. Good athletic swing right there.
Borges, who runs well, was playing so shallow he just couldn't get to it. Here's Rollins, who had a sac fly his last time up. 3rd RBI on this road trip.
Oh.
Rollins has hit in 14 straight. All 14 games have been 1-hit games. It's the longest stretch with that kind of a personality since Alex Gonzalez back in 05 hit in 15 straight, and all those were 1-hit. Mentioned that Ted Sizemore did it for the Cardinals. He hit in 17 straight. 16, the first 16 were 1-hit ball games. That was some time ago.
The thing I noticed with the Cardinal pitchers, even when they're in trouble, they don't nibble. They come right after. All 3 games so far. And that's why I think they get deeper into games, because their pitch counts aren't so high. They're very aggressive with all the pitches that they throw.
Well, that was an aggressive slider right there. It's 3-2. Just not giving in. So much for a hitter's count for Rollins. Now it's 3-2. See if Wainwright throws that slider again. He doesn't. Swing and a miss. It's a curveball, and Molina will throw out Rollins. 4th strikeout for Adam Wainwright.
Tom, you mentioned his curveball earlier as being a strikeout pitch. That's what he went to right there in that 3-2 count.
Now the Phillies will need a 2-out hit from Carlos Ruiz, who was hit by a pitch his last time up. Hamels is at 3rd, or excuse me, at 2nd. Fly ball, shallow left. Peralta, the shortstop, goes back. Holiday comes running in. And Holiday will make the catch. Side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in scoring position, middle of the 5th. It's the Phillies 1 and the Cardinals 1. Playbook of good citizenship brought to you by Citizens Bank. With more than 6 million people in the greater Philadelphia region, there's ample opportunity to help. Build houses, volunteer, or be a mentor. Visit citizensbank.com/community to learn more. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank, good banking is good citizenship. Walking over here today, the Phillies hotel is about 100 feet from the ballpark. Walking over, there were a ton of Phillies fans making their way up and down the street outside Busch Stadium. Many of them were heading over to the baseball village, as you can imagine. It used to be that when the game was over, people would venture toward the center of town. There's a handful of really good restaurants that are in downtown St. Louis. Now there are still people that venture to the center of town, but a majority of the people don't venture any farther than the village.
Across the street from the ballpark.
Yeah.
In the other direction, through the outfield.
Yeah. Mark Ellis will lead it off. Ellis batting 8th. He's 1 for 22 this season, leading off an inning. And he takes the ball. Sharply on one hop to Rollins, who bobbles for a moment and still has time to recover. Oh, time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia question answer. All right, Jamie, here's the question one more time. February 25th, 1972, the Cardinals traded Steve Carlton to the Phillies. For what player?
It would be pitcher for pitcher. It would be Rick Wise.
Rick Wise is correct. How old were you then when they made that trade?
10.
10.
Actually, I was 9. It was my 10th year of my life.
Do you remember it? Vaguely?
I vaguely remember, yes.
You used to go out of your way to go see Steve Carlton pitch if you went to a game? Did you?
Actually, not necessarily to a game, but if he was pitching it at home, or if the game was televised,
yeah,
I would try to make it a point to be home to watch him pitch.
You know, his catcher's here this weekend.
Yeah, I saw him 2 days ago in the clubhouse.
Tim McCarver's doing some Cardinals games on TV.
Always a pleasure to chat with Timmy.
It was great talking to him because he was telling us that he's going on a road trip. This next road trip, he's talking about going on the charter and stuff like that. It's been a while since he did something like that.
And he actually sounded like he was looking forward to it.
I think he was. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Adam Wainwright. Wainwright grounded to third his first time up. And he lines one over the glove of Ashe. Dominic Brown can't cut it off. It gets to the wall. And Wainwright hustling to second. So Hamels doubles. Wainwright doubles. Now they're all even. Third double of the year for Wainwright. Boy, he ripped that ball.
He did hit that ball hard and hit it hard enough to get it by Dominic Brown in left field.
Yeah, Dominic, if he had cut this off, he probably would have held him to a single. Would have been a long single, but Wainwright was moving.
See, he puts a good swing on it and really not trying to do a whole lot. He gets his foot down and 4, 5, 6 little hops and then rolled past Dominic Brown for a double. He had to play it off the wall.
Congratulating himself out at second. All right, so the Phillies were unable to score their pitcher after he had a 1-out double in the top of the 5th. Now the Cardinals have a 1-out double here in the bottom of the 5th by their pitcher. Matt Carpenter takes a strike. It's 0-1.
It's always fun to get a hit when you're pitching. It really is.
Well, today the pitchers are combined 3 for 4.
Yeah, and you feel like you're contributing to your team other than on the mound. And very seldom you get to do that unless you lay down a good sac bunt.
All right, well, get rid of a theory for me here.
Okay.
People talk about, oh, we don't want him to get on base. He's got to run the bases. That's going to tire him out on the mound. I mean, is that true?
I guess for some it can be true, but I think it's more of a mental thing than that. If you're ready to play and you're in shape, it really shouldn't matter. is kind of how I look at it. Now, if you're, say, they get 2 outs here, and Cole gets 2 outs here, and they get a base hit, and he's got to slide into the plate, and then next guy makes an out real quick.
His adrenaline's moving a little bit.
You got to catch your wind and towel yourself off a little bit. But back in the day, if you were a pitcher and ended up on base after the 3rd out, you never went to the dugout. Your glove was brought out somewhere on the field with a towel. You toweled off on the field and you walked right to the mound. That doesn't happen anymore.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Carpenter.
Why it doesn't happen, I really don't have any idea. But I mean, if they want to talk about speeding up the game, that's one thing they can do to speed up the game. Have one of your position players with a bat, boy, bring your glove out, a cup of water, a towel. I remember early in my career doing that all the time, and it was really kind of, it was kind of taboo to go in the dugout. They wanted you to stay on the field.
See, all these things, you could have kept on doing it that way, and people would have followed you.
Oh, I don't know. People didn't follow the stirrup thing.
You tried. You really did try. 1-2 to Carpenter. And he just gets a piece of that to stay alive. Carpenter is 0 for 2. He is struck out. He's grounded out to Howard over at first on a diving play.
So you got to start small, Tom. I tried with the stirrups.
Yeah.
I do notice a couple more players now. Like Miller, the shortstop with the Mariners.
Yeah.
I think they have an outfielder that wears the stirrups.
Marlon Byrd has the socks going. He doesn't have the stirrups. He has the socks going. High socks.
Remember, like on Sundays, if I pitched on a Sunday when I played in Seattle, Michael Cameron would wear stirrups in honor of me.
Wow.
Yeah, only on Sundays though.
Every other day he was styling.
Oh yeah, he had the bell-bottom pants on.
The pajama pants. It's as if you're running around wearing khakis out there. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Carpenter. Reaches out, pokes it toward left. Dominic Brown wanders in. 2 outs. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. This one is given to us by Marlena. Marlena is going to need a new Phillies shirt, although I guess that's the style she's looking for. Thank you, Marlena. It's a great photo. Tweet your photo to #PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Well, another tough hitter for Hamels to try to get through here in the 5th with Wainwright at second. Inside.
Struck out Alan Craig in his last at bat on 3 pitches. It ended up being it started with a changeup that he swung at first pitch, and then a cutter in, and then a fastball away that he did not think was a strike. There's a good backdoor cut fastball. Like Cole.
Not as many changeups today so far for Cole.
I'm not seeing that yet. A lot of cutters. A whole lot of cutters.
Is ready. And a liner out toward left center field. Dominic Brown on the run, and he'll make the catch of the side. He is retired. That was a sinking line drive, and the Cardinals leave their pitcher in scoring position here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So 5 in the book. franchise that has existed since 1883. Jimmy Rollins delivered his first hit in his Major League debut and has delivered on cue for his team and the city of Philadelphia for 15 seasons. Among the leaders in almost every offensive category in Phillies history, Jimmy's baseball card on the back is overflowing with a career of offensive success. The hits torch has officially been passed for the Phillies. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Now, the Phillies will honor Jimmy Rollins on Monday night when they return home to take on the Miami Marlins. Game time is at 7:05. We invite you to be in your seats for the ceremony by 6:45 on Monday night. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. We go to the top of the 6th inning here at Busch Stadium. Phillies haven't seen a whole lot of offense. Phillies fans haven't seen a whole lot of offense from their team. Same for the Cardinals fans. Chase Utley will lead it off. It'll be Utley, Howard, Marlon Byrd, 3, 4, and 5. Utley is 1 for 2. Takes a fastball and it's 0-1. During this stretch of games in which the Phillies are 9-2 over their last 11, we've talked a lot about run differential. The Phillies for a good part of this year were way in the negative in run differential. But over the last 11 games, not counting today's ball game, they've outscored the opposition 53-24. Outscored them by almost 30 runs.
And with the pitching that they have, it's really held up.
Matt Adams will take it to the bag. 1 out. Ryan Howard's coming up. It's time to check in with Murph. Murph.
All right, Tom. Well, when you talk about teams and franchises in sports that really do it the right way, you can't help but mention the St. Louis Cardinals. If the idea is to get to the postseason and win games, the Cardinals really have done that better than anybody else since the year of 2005 in Major League Baseball. Take a look at the numbers. 43 postseason wins for the St. Louis Cardinals since 2005. You see in second is Boston with 28 and the Phils in third with 27, but that's a significant number of difference. And of course, you remember they won it all in 2006 and 2011. 2011, we don't like to talk about all that much, but certainly that has a lot of postseason wins over the last decade.
Murph, we saw you cheating. You were looking up at the big video board to see where the...
I just wanted to make sure I had it right.
Yeah. Well, they have been very good. I mean, 11 world championships overall. Obviously, it's very difficult to reach the heights of the Yankees and how many world championships they have won. But 11 says an awful lot.
Phillies fans know, Tom, how difficult it is, to get there and to stay up top. And they've just done an amazing job with their farm system and getting guys in here and getting guys through that have been able to help their ball club year in and year out.
It's not just pitchers either. Look at the position players that are out there right now. Carpenter at third, Adams at first, Craig in right. These are all homegrown guys that they're throwing out there.
I was down on the field before their batting practice this morning talking to John Mabry, their hitting coach, and all their position players were gathered up around second base. And I don't know, I didn't get out here before their meeting started, but it was a long meeting. And when they were done, everybody knew exactly where they were going. Their BP started, their ground ball started. It was like a well-oiled machine.
Marlon Byrd takes outside. It's 2-0. Well, this is what you're talking about. They're not singing campfire songs out there.
And I don't see I see David Bell there as a coach. This might have been a little bit of a players meeting more so than a coaches meeting.
It was Yadier Molina who was the guy leading the discussion. You saw his arms moving around and he was the one chatting. 2-1 now to Marlon Byrd.
I like it right out on the field. Let's get dressed and get out on the field. Let's have our meeting and then go right into our work. And they worked. I mean, they had 3 coaches immediately, actually, excuse me, 4 coaches immediately hitting ground balls. And then, Mike Matheny started throwing batting practice.
2-2. I forgot David Bell was here on this coaching staff.
He's the assistant hitting coach.
Yeah, he was with the Reds last year, the Cubs last year as their third base coach. Cubs obviously made a managerial change. David was managing in the farm system prior to being up with the Cubs as their third base coach. Marlin has struck out for the second time today. That's 5 strikeouts for Wainwright, who retires the Phillies in order here in the 6th. We played 5 1/2. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning here at St. Louis. It's a 1-1 game. Your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. By Budweiser. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Hello, folks in the ballpark village. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday as the Phillies and the Cardinals are tied up at 1. That's Jamie Moyer. I'm Tom McCarthy. It's nice to be with everybody. Look how big that screen is in there.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Jamie would like the nachos and queso.
Actually, that Tango Hombres, they have good burritos.
All right, Jamie would like a burrito from Tango Hombre. I'll take some buffalo chicken wings, boneless. Murph and I will share those. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And it'll be Matt Holliday leading it off. Holliday takes inside. It's 1 ball, no strikes. All right, give me your assessment of these 2 starters today. Both are, the ace of their staffs. How are they doing?
Well, both starters, I don't think, have their A game going today. But you wouldn't know it from their body language. And they're actually fighting their way through this game rather easily. I don't think either one of them has great command of a particular pitch. I can tell you of Wainwright's 18 outs, 15 of the outs have come on either a cutter or a curveball.
On the outside corner, it's 1-2. All right, and now the other side is that Hamels hasn't really thrown his curveball today.
He hasn't. Actually, that's a good call, Tom. He's thrown a lot of cut fastballs, which is very, I don't want to say unusual for him, and not near as many changeups. But again, getting results, and that's really what it comes down to, and that's what's called mixing and matching with your stuff. Speaking of, there's a curveball right there.
78 miles an hour. Remains 1-2. Holliday struck out his last time up. He was not happy with Angel Campos, the first base umpire, on a check swing call. And during this at bat, he had a few words for Larry Vanover, the home plate umpire. There's Angel.
But of Cole's 5 strikeouts, 4 of them have been looking. So you can do it in many. You can get the same result in many different ways.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. If you have frontline starter stuff, sometimes you're not going to have your best stuff. You're going to have to pitch your way through it. Wow.
Well, I've always looked at a season and broken the season down into thirds. And 20% of the time you're going to have not good stuff, very bad stuff, very poor stuff, mediocre. And you got to figure out a way to get to the 5th inning. Another 20% of the time you're going to have great stuff and you throw your glove out in the field and you're going to win. And then that 60% in the middle, that's where you've got to pitch. And if you look at that 60% and you dominate or you win a lot of those games and throw a lot of quality innings in those games, plus you add the top 20% to it, you can end up having a pretty darn good year.
Well, today is not one of those days where they're just throwing their glove out there. Inside, ball 4. That's an 8-pitch at bat. It's the 4th walk issued by Hamels. He thought he had Holiday struck out at one point and needed to take a walk. This season, there are 3 chances to see the perennially fantastic postgame fireworks shows at Citizens Bank Park. Thursday, June 26th, and Friday, June 27th against the Marlins and the Braves, and then a brand new one Saturday the 28th at 7:15. That's the makeup game from April 15th. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. First pitch to Molina is low.
Another thing I always hated when the hitters started complaining to the umpire, because he can stand right there and complain. On the mound, you can't stand and complain. What ends up happening sometimes, now they start getting the borderline calls. Now you get frustrated.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting pitches now because he's complaining. He's taking those pitches away, and I think that's what happened in that at bat with Halladay.
Yeah, because it was what we think from up here, 150 feet away from home plate. I thought it was a strike. And Larry Anderson, who just signaled over to me from the radio booth, thought it was a strike also. And I know you did as well.
Yes, I did.
1 ball, 1 strike to Molina. Swing and a miss. Change up, 1-2.
To me, that's where the hitter has the advantage because he's closer to the umpire. And you can't stand on the mound and really have a big conversation with the umpire like a hitter can at home plate. And you see sometimes a lot of hitters won't even look at the umpire. They'll look down because they don't want to show them up. And as a pitcher, if you're standing on the mound having that conversation, they feel like you're showing them up.
So you need your catcher to basically talk on his behalf.
You hope your catcher can be your representative.
Swing and a miss. The bat goes out toward Adrian Johnson. Strikeout number 6 for Hamels. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. They're in the bottom of the 5th inning. That game is not over yet. The Reds lead the Blue Jays 8-0 for the 2nd straight day. Last night, the Blue Jays down 8-0, wound up winning at 14-9. Jay Bruce homered in yesterday's ball game. He homers again today. Here's Johnny Peralta. He's 1 for 2, doubled his first time up, and he takes inside and low, 1-0.
You know, really the only time you have a chance to talk to the umpire is either when you come to the plate as a hitter yourself when you're pitching, or when you walk off the field. If he happens to walk towards the baseline, you can have a brief conversation there. But other than that, you really don't have an opportunity.
So you would talk to him as a hitter if you went up there? You would say, "Hey, about that pitch in the 5th inning."
I'd bring something. You know, if I had a pitch that or I just out of curiosity, I'd say, "Hey, where did you get that pitch? I thought it was close or whatever." And you know, if they remember, they usually tell you, "Yeah, I had it down or I had it off the plate." Or on occasion they'd say, "Hey, sorry, I missed it." And you know what? I can do nothing but tip my hat to that.
1-0 pitch to Peralta. Inside, 2-0. Over to third on one hop. Ashe's got it. Around the horn they go. 5-4-3 double play as Howard keeps his foot on the bag. It's the second double play of the afternoon, rolled by Cole Hamels. We've played 6 innings here in St. Louis. Dominic Brown will try to get the offense rolling. We return. Well, it's time now for your local Honda dealers game summary. And the Phillies and the Cardinals tied at 1. We're going to the top of the 7th inning. The run for the Phils, a sac fly by Jimmy Rollins. The run for the Cardinals, a sac fly by Matt Adams. Both pitchers, well, they've helped their cause at the plate, but haven't been able to push a run across the plate with their hits. Both have gone through 6. Wainwright has not walked anybody. Hamels has walked 4. So now as we go to the top of the 7th, Dominic Brown will lead it off. Dominic is 0 for 2. He has tapped one back to the mound twice. I don't even think one was harder than the other. Breaking ball. Oh, no balls and 2 strikes.
Oh, and as I said, Wainwright, 15 of his outs have come via the cutter or the curveball. He has 3 strikeouts on the curveball and 2 strikeouts on the cutter.
Well, I'm thinking curveball or cutter right here with the count 0-2 to Dominic Brown. It's a curveball.
It's a harder one. It had a little more bite to it. It was meant to be in the dirt as a chase pitch.
This game is very similar to the last time these two guys face each other in St. Louis, where the neither fared in decision. The Phillies won the game 2-0 on a home run by Placido Polanco. That one's pulled over the head of Adams into right field, a base hit. And Dominic Brown is aboard with a leadoff single here in the 7th. Charles Barkley is one of the most controversial, outspoken, and dominating players in the history of basketball. Monday at 5, find out what he thinks of the Sixers at the upcoming NBA draft, live on Philly Sports Talk, presented by Comcast Business on Comcast Sportsnet. You know Sir Charles at all?
I do. Actually, when I was at St. Joe, the Sixers used to practice there in the mornings.
Yeah.
So I'd sneak over every now and then and watch them practice a little bit. Get to meet Dr. J, Moses Malone, Charles. It was fun. It's fun watching them practice.
Now you're being a name dropper. Now you're being a basketball name dropper.
You asked me, and I gave you the answer.
Did you ever play golf with Charles?
No. And I've actually bumped into him at times, throughout the years at a golf event.
He was very close with Harry, with HK. He's a great guy. It's funny.
Oh, very funny.
Swing and a miss by Mayberry. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Been out to the Tahoe golf event where he has played, and been around him a little bit there.
1 ball, 1 strike to Mayberry. Well, we'll get his perspective on the NBA draft on Monday. Mayberry skies it to center, playable for Borges. It's not that deep. And with 1 man down, Cody Ashe will be the batter. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. Budweiser Brew House out at the Ballpark Village. How much of the field? I guess they can see just about everything from where they are right there, right? You probably can't see center field or right field.
Well, you might get a partial view of the scoreboard. Not sure. But yeah, you probably can't see down in front of the Phillies bullpen, is my guess.
As she takes low and in, 1 ball, no strikes. That's the view. That's where the camera is in the brew house. So yeah, you can't see center or right. As Jamie said, the front of the Phillies bullpen. It's kind of neat when you walk outside here at Busch Stadium. The stadium is kind of set down in the ground. So when you're walking out in that area in front of the brew house in that street just below there, you can kind of look in and see things that are going on. The Phillies used to stay at a hotel that was about a half a block away. It's the Hilton Hotel, and from certain rooms you can sit and watch. You can sit and see what's going on the playing field. 1-0 pitch, chopper right side. Dominic Brown tries to avoid it. The throw to second will get him. So a fielder's choice for Ashe. 4-6 on the putout at second. And Hamels is coming up. He's 2 for 2. He's having the best day of anybody for the Phils. Hamels singled in the 3rd, doubled in the 5th. He has never had a 3-hit game in his major league career.
See if he gets a fastball first pitch here.
You're saying no?
I wouldn't think so. Cutter or slider.
A little smirk from Hamels.
So you got the fastball the previous at bat because nobody was on. This at bat was somebody on. He didn't get it.
Curveball.
I think Wainwright's going to treat him like a hitter right now.
He's got every reason to treat him that way after giving up 2 hits, including one that was a 1-hop over the wall, ground rule doubles last time up.
Well, he doesn't want to give a hit here and turn the lineup over. Face the top of the order with guys in scoring position.
All right, so 2 cutters and a curveball so far.
Thinking a fastball away or a fastball in. Probably a fastball away is my guess. No, going in. Cutter. Another cutter. Kind of the backdoor type of cutter. Good chance you're going to see a curveball here.
Well, there's the number 2 thrown down by Yadier Molina. Curveball swung on and missed. Side is retired. 6 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. It's time to stretch here at Busch Stadium in a 1-1 game. won. The Cardinals won. Cole Hamels back to work out on the hill. The Fanatic MVP Club, which is brought to you by the DuPont Hospital for Children, is for children 14 and under. You can join the Fanatic MVP Club for $13. Receive a Fanatic bobblehead, a water bottle, and poster. Visit Phillies.com, /MVP Fanatic for more information. Well, there is the hotel that the Phillies used to stay at. They have this sort of 360 restaurant up top that opened a couple of years ago. That was before the Phillies skedaddled and went to a different hotel. A lot of activity downtown. Matt Adams leads it off, and he hits one shallow center field. Utley was out there, so he'll take it. One pitch, one away here in the 7th. Well, Jamie, we're heading down one of those paths again, where Hamels is pitching great. Doesn't have his best stuff, as you mentioned. Neither does Wainwright, but he's pitching great. And they've only scored 1 run for him.
Well, he picked a tough draw today in Wainwright, and you knew it was going to be a pitcher's duel. And the team that can probably play the most consistent, pitch the most consistent, is probably going to win this game.
Yeah. Shadows are starting to creep past home plate too, so it becomes more of an advantage for the hitter, or for the pitcher, I should say. There's a good curve, and it's 0-2. It is 5:10 Central Time here in St. Louis. And Borges has struck out on 3 pitches. 7 strikeouts for Hamels. He's at 98 pitches with 2 outs here in the 7th.
Here you see a really good changeup. I don't know if Borges would have hit that with a tennis racket. He wasn't even close. And I don't know if the shadow had an effect on him or not, but he wasn't close to that pitch.
Mark Ellis is 0 for 2. He has struck out looking. He's grounded out to shortstop. Well, Larry Vanover's been consistent with that pitch. He doesn't like it. Doesn't like it one bit. It's over the plate, but it's just a tad low. Now that one everybody will like. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mark Ellis. Shadow just crept right past the home plate area. Foul tip, and it's 3-2. Wainwright is out in the on-deck circle, as you would expect. Ground ball toward the hole, just past Ashe into left field. And Mark Ellis, 1 for 11 on the homestand, picks up a base hit with 2 men down. And Wainwright will bat. Phillies do have bullpen action. Justin DeFreitas is starting to throw out in the Phillies bullpen. Yes, you have to say at this point, as this game is so tight in the 7th inning, the advantage is to the Phillies bullpen over the Cardinals bullpen. Cardinals bullpen is very good, but as hot as the Phillies bullpen has been, they probably have the slight advantage. Statistically, the Cardinals have a better bullpen.
They might be a little more rested too. I'd be surprised here if you see a hit and run.
Just as we saw earlier with Hamels and Cody Ashley.
Wainwright handles the bat very well. You're at the bottom of the order. They get a hit and run right here. If they were successful with it, they potentially are first and third with the top of their lineup coming up.
Swing and a miss. 0-1. Threw him a changeup. Part of what the Phillies are thinking by throwing over there a couple times. Chris Maloney, longtime manager in the Cardinals organization, been over there as the first base coach for a couple of years now, whispering in the ear of Ellis.
See a lot of pitchers too. They go over once, they go over twice. Very seldom do they go over 3 times in a row, and almost never do they go 4.
Every time the Phillies pitchers retire the opposition 1-2-3, which Cole Hamels has not done here this afternoon except for the one time in the third. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Pitch. Swing and a miss. The bat goes flying. Well, Wainwright has just won the bat toss competition from Yadier Molina. 8 strikeouts for Cole Hamels. And the side is retired here in the 7th. Top of the order is due to lead it off for the Phils. Well, Cole Hamels today through 7 innings. He's been battling, and he's had base runners he's had to deal with, JB, but he's been able to work out of each and every jam.
Yeah, he has, and he's utilized his defense. He's had 2 double plays. He's got 8 strikeouts. A lot of his outs today have come on the cutter and the changeup, a couple on the fastball. But he's had to work for everything he's gotten today. And right there you see a really good changeup. There's another good changeup to Burgess. And Cole's, like I said, he's worked hard to get to where he is, but he's gotten through 7 strong innings, and looks like he may go back out there for the 8th. You see Adam Wainwright back out for the 8th as well, who's pitched a very good game too, with not having his what we call his A stuff. He's gone 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts.
Well, it started in the first inning with Wainwright. He struck out a couple different batters as Carlos Ruiz went down looking. That was the first strikeout. And then Ryan Howard went down on a breaking pitch. He's had Marlon Byrd off balance today. Even Jimmy Rollins off balance on that curveball.
Yeah, as we talked earlier, most of Wainwright's outs today have come off via the cutter, slider, and curveball.
Well, so as he begins the top of the 8th inning, there will be bullpen action for the Cardinals. Sam Freeman, the left-hander's warming up. So Wainwright will face Rollins, 0 for 2. Rollins has hit it 14 straight. 1 ball and no strikes. First at bat, Rollins ran the count to 3-1 and popped up. Then it was 3-1 his last time up, and he wound up striking out with Hamels in scoring position. Outside, 2-0. Wainwright's earned run average has dropped to 2.10 with today. It began at 2.15, which was second best in the National League. Looks like Rollins was taking a strike, and it's 2-1. So this is the third time Rollins has been ahead 3-1 today, correct?
It is.
Let's see if he can get on base.
It hasn't been pitched the same way either time. Does he get a curveball here?
I think he does, but
or a cutter, backdoor cutter.
Cutter.
Yep. It wasn't quite like the 3-1 cutter he had in his previous at bat. He swung through that was kind of right on the inside part of the strike zone. Potentially a ball, right?
Absolutely. 3-2 pitch. Fouls it back. He got a fastball. Curveball pulled, and it's off the glove of Adams. Ellis won't be able to get it, and Rollins is safe at first. We'll see how they score that one. They've scored at a base hit, so Rollins is now hit in 15 consecutive games. And he's aboard to start the 8th inning.
Just what the Phillies needed here. That's a 2-hopper hit pretty quickly. Adams may have looked like he fought the sun a little bit. Looks like the sun's kind of going down over the dugout here. Jimmy hustled hard down the line. It's an easy base hit.
All right, so now Rollins at first. He was caught stealing by Yadier Molina in game number 1, but Molina has not had a whole lot of success against the Phillies, stealing bases over the years. Runner goes. The pitch is lined to right field. Coming on is Craig. He makes the catch. Rollins has to hurry back, and he does get back. One away. Rollins still at first. Chase Utley's coming up. It's time for the Major League Notebook. Murph?
All right, thanks a lot, Tom. Brought to you by Gwynedd Mercy University. And Yankee starter CC Sabathia getting closer to return to the big leagues. He's been on the DL with that knee issue since the beginning of May, but he has been throwing bullpens. He says his knee feels 100%, so the Yanks are sending him to Tampa in hopes that he can start his rehab assignment sometime early next week. And a little bit of surprising news coming out of the Anaheim Angels. Raul Ibanez released today, guys. He had 29 home runs a year ago, just 3 this year, batting 157 for the Angels. And he's a 42-year-old guy playing the outfield, and they just decided that they're going to go younger. And Raul Ibanez now without a team. Of course, I guess we'll have to clear waivers before he'd be officially released, but he is out there now, guys.
Tell you what, he would help somebody as a left-handed bat off the bench. There's a chopper to the right side. Adams throws to second in time to get Rollins. 2 outs. Talk about threading a needle. You need to throw that ball right over the shoulder of Rollins to get it to Peralta. Fielder's choice, and there are 2 outs.
Yeah, it's a tough play. Adams is very agile first baseman. He's got good footwork and gets to that ball quickly. And you're right, Tom. You had to thread the needle to get that ball to Peralta, but they got the lead runner, which was the plan there. Now you got Chase Utley at first base with Ryan Howard coming to the plate.
All right, so the leadoff single by Jimmy Rollins right now hasn't really amounted to a whole lot. Howard 0 for 3. He has struck out. He's grounded out twice.
Again, the Phillies get somebody on base, and within 2 pitches, there's 2 outs made.
Yeah, it's been pretty quick. This will be the 100th pitch of the day for Wainwright. Balls, 1 strike. Inside, 1-1. Pat Neshek, the right-hander, has joined Freeman in the pen. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Well, it must be nice to have that equalizer in your back pocket, that curveball. He can throw it pretty much anytime he wants. He's got a hard one, and then he's got a get me over curveball. But both of them have a lot of good depth to it.
One-two pitch coming to Ryan Howard. Breaking ball. He lays off 2-2. Dropped right on in there. Howard's down looking. 7 strikeouts for Wainwright. Leadoff singles wasted by the Phils. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Still locked at 1. Nissan. Get to your local Nissan store for the ride of your life and save big today. Buy McDonald's. Any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And buy the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. It's a busy day over at the Ballpark Village. There is a table available on the far side if anybody's looking for one. Adam Wainwright might need a table because it looks like he is done for the day. Congratulated by Mike Matheny and his pitching coach Derek Lilquist. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Matt Carpenter takes low. It's 1-0. Well, Carpenter has struck out 7. Excuse me, Wainwright struck out 7. Hamels has struck out 8 in today's ball game. Wainwright's best pitch has been the curveball. Get 2 strikes. Hamels has used his changeup. He's used his cutter. Low, 2-1.
They both have competed very well today without their best stuff. And it's not often that you see 2 starting pitchers on a really pretty warm day hitting in the 7th inning like they both did in the previous inning.
Yeah, I wondered if either would be pinch hit for. Maybe if somebody was in scoring position, they would have.
I'm not sure with Wainwright.
You know,
he's a pretty good hitter. You know, I've seen him come up as a pinch hitter in games.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Carpenter.
And with the way the Cardinals are swinging the bats right now, Mike Matheny might have a little more confidence in Wainwright.
Hamels got away with 4 walks today. It's 3-2 now to Carpenter.
Yeah, it's really important that he gets this leadoff guy out.
They appeal. No swings as Adrian Johnson. It's ball 4, so 5 walks. And Alan Craig is coming up. Next Saturday, when the Phillies take on the Atlanta Braves, it'll be a day-night doubleheader at Citizens Bank Park. Game 1 is at 2:05. It's Apple Vacations Photo Day, presented by Now Resorts and Spas, plus a free 2014 Phillies print to all fans. Game 2, which is at 7:15, is the rescheduled April 15th rainout. It's the Xfinity Fireworks post-game show. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Bob McClure out to the mound with a runner at first base. Larry Vanover had an ice pack that he just discarded and now runs out to break up the conversation on the mound. Bottom of the 8th inning, Alan Craig 1 for 3, singled his first time up. Runner goes, the ball is chopped into the Phillies dugout, and it's 0-1. So Phillies decided not to bunt Ruiz in the top of the 8th inning. Craig is not a guy that you would put in a sacrifice bunt situation. So they both teams try to put the runner in motion and do a little hit and run. Carpenter's not necessarily a threat to run. He has stolen 2 bags this year. Since the beginning of 2013, when he was put in the leadoff spot, he has 5 stolen bases. That's the fewest among all major league leadoff men, with a minimum of 15 plate appearances, or excuse me, 500 plate appearances.
This is a situation where Cole comes set instead of picking his leg up first, he could start his hands, hopefully to get the runner to commit to second base. As a left-hander, you can do a couple things with your pickoff to try to get a base runner to commit, especially if he's going on first move. If you start your hands first, if he's going on first move, he's going to go to second on that first movement. Now you can go over to first and pick and hopefully get him at second base.
Yeah, he had him leading there.
You see how he picks his leg up first? If he started his hands slightly before he starts his leg, the base runner is so set on seeing any kind of movement, and if he's going, he's just going to go. And now you've got to be quick in picking your leg up, getting your foot down, and making a good throw to Ryan Howard so he can make that throw to Jimmy.
Carpenter doesn't go, and the pitch is hit in the air to center field. Playable for Mayberry. And there's one out. Well, it was something soft. I don't know if it was a curveball or if it was a changeup that Hamels just threw to get Alan Craig out. Changeup.
Yeah. Good pitch. Back-to-back changeups.
Matt Holliday has bounced into one double play. That was back in the first.
And the biggest thing with that, they don't advance a base runner. Double play still in order. Now, how big is this game today, Tom? I mean, it's, you know, the Phillies can get within what, 3 games of 500. The Mets are beating Miami right now.
Get closer to
just
second
start
place.
creeping forward.
Yeah,
you know, just little by little.
Well, and I think your point, and you've said this whole road trip, is get back to 500. Then, you know, then you can be, I don't want to say taken seriously, because the East is wide open. But you have to be realistic. But you have to get back to 500.
Most definitely, and not only get back to it, but then move forward from it.
Right. Yeah, the NFL, like the Seahawks a couple of years ago, you might make it to the postseason in less than 500 team. But you're not going to make it to the postseason in Major League Baseball less than 500. 2 balls and no strikes. Hamels now thrown 117 pitches today. Jake Diekman is ready in the bullpen if Ryan Sandberg wants to go to him. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, Trevor Rosenthal is in the bullpen, their closer. He'll come in no matter what the situation is. The Cardinals have a lead, or if it's still tied, you would think in the top of the 9th inning. Here at home, you can do that with your closer. Curveball, and it's fouled over toward the Phillies dugout, 2-2.
Sure, Carlos just went out there to check with Cole to see what possibly he was thinking, or to give him what Carlos was thinking, to get on the same page here.
And a line drive toward the alley in left center field. That may give the Cardinals the lead. He gets away from Mayberry. It's off the wall. Carpenter's around third. He's going to score, and the Cardinals have a 2-1 lead. Absolutely no chance for John Mayberry to get to that ball and get it in before Carpenter scored, because he was shaded over toward right center.
And that's what we were talking about earlier in the game, about Cole getting a lot of his outs away. That was a cutter that was middle in, slightly elevated. And Halladay got the good part of the bat to that ball and drove it through the left center field gap.
18th double of the year for Matt Halladay, 37th RBI, and Hamels' afternoon is complete. He's still responsible for the runner at seconds. So he goes 7 1/3 here this afternoon. The Cardinals up 2-1. Jake Diekman's coming on to try to finish off this 8th inning. Just taking the lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So as we take a glance and see what their players have done here this afternoon, you can see the walks, the one to Carpenter, that's part of his line, and the other one to Yadier Molina, one of 2, have led to runs this afternoon. Adam Wainwright 1 for 3 in the 9-hole. He's the pitcher of record right now on the winning side. Our Subway winning box score. So Halladay is at second base after his RBI double. And Yadier Molina will be the batter. He'll face Jake Diekman. Diekman's ERA is sinking. It's at 4.50 overall. 46 strikeouts and 34 innings of work.
If you think about it, Tom, it's the first time we've heard this crowd in 3 days.
Yeah, they were pretty quiet the first couple of days. Maybe the first inning of game 1. You're right. Got to keep it at a 1-run game.
A little clapping now.
The first time we were here, I don't remember which player it was, but the first time I heard booing here some years ago, they never used to boo all their own players. They boo you when you played here?
I don't think they saw me enough to boo me. I don't even know if they knew my name. I wasn't here long enough.
Oh. 98 on that fastball. Do you have a Cardinals jersey that you saved?
That I saved? Yeah. Actually, my wife may have turned it into a dress. She made a dress out of a lot of my uniform tops.
Really?
Yeah. She had a surprise 50th for me and made a dress.
For herself?
Correct.
You didn't wear it, did you?
No.
Okay. Halladay took off, and that ball hits Molina, so Halladay will have to go back to seconds. Third batter that's been hit in this series for the Cardinals.
98-mile-an-hour fastball that he just pulled across.
And Ruiz, too.
Yeah. see where when he followed through, how his arm kind of came across his body. It looked like he just pulled that ball across his body instead of getting the extension that he needed.
Yeah, Carlos just went out to the mound, and it wasn't anything about the Molina at bat per se. It was about, hey, you got a runner at second, you got to keep him close at second base. Rollins was nodding as Diekman was listening to the advice by Ruiz. So Johnny Peralta's hit into a double play here today. Takes outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Off the glove of Ruiz. The runners will move up. That's a pass ball. That'll be the second pass ball of the year for Carlos. He's taking a look at his glove.
Yeah, he missed his location by about 1.5 feet at 98. That's tough. It's tough, but your catching coach is going to tell you, hey, you got to put some leather on that. But that's a tough one to swallow right there.
Well, now they have Phillies have to play the infield in with 1 man down and cut off a run. They're down by 1, 2-1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The outfield comes in also. The outfield comes in except for Dominic Brown on the pull side. He's still pretty deep. Well, Diekman averages more than a strikeout per inning pitched, and Ryan Sandberg needs him to strike out Peralta here. Out to shortstop. Rollins has got it. Coming home, and the throw is one hopped, and it's dropped by Ruiz, so Holiday is safe. (3-1) St. Louis. Rollins rushed the throw, and it was a one-hopper to Carlos. He couldn't hang on. He pushed Holiday away with the attempted tag. He did get him, but the ball was jarred loose. That's a tough play for Carlos. He's got him there, and then the ball comes loose. Holiday, I think, touched the play with his right hand, reaching back after Ruiz tagged him, but then went back and stepped on the plate just in case.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. That's, a short hop for a catcher with that catcher's mitt. It's a hard ball to catch, and I don't know if Carlos had a tight grip on that ball, but when his body hit the ground, I think it jarred the ball loose.
Well, that'll be a fielder's choice. It is an RBI. It's 3-1 St. Louis. Runners on first and third. And Adams takes strike one. It's 0-1. So close the line on Hamels. 3 runs here this afternoon. Two of those runs are earned as of now. Fly ball to right. Well, that ball went a long way with an awkward swing. Bird makes the catch. Tagging from third is Molina. He'll score. It's a sac fly. Second RBI and a sac fly for Adams today. It's 4-1 St. Louis. So all 3 runs now are earned for Hamels. The reason he had to hold it is because the pass ball that allowed Holiday to go to third. You got to wait for another batter to see if the inning would have continued from a scoring standpoint based on Holiday just being at second. Well, we talked about the Phillies defense, how good it's been in this inning. There's no errors charged, but they just haven't been as crisp. Lead off walk, pass ball, hit batter, fielder's choice on a play at the plate that should have been made, and then the sac fly.
Well, as I said earlier, the team who makes the fewest mistakes is going to win this game.
Job of back towards second. It's not hit that hard. Utley will just wait and then flip. Side is retired, but the Cardinals break through for 3 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It means the Phils have some work to do as we go to the 9th, and Trevor Rosenthal will come on to try to close it out. Things that went on, but this is the cleanest thing that went on for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and you're right, Tom. It's the only clean thing that happened. Holiday hits a hard double to left center field. Really, we've got things moving here, which is the delivery of the game. W.B. Mason delivery of the game.
That's right. By the way, just to clean up Hamels' line, 3 runs, 2 earned. The official scorer has decided that the pass ball allowing Holiday to go to third is the reason it's an unearned run, which is right. If you break down the whole inning, the ground ball to short to Rollins would not have allowed Holiday to go to third, and then the fly ball to right would have ended the inning. So 3 runs, 2 earned. He just made the switch. So Marlon Byrd will lead it off against Trevor Rosenthal. Now he's 20 saves, Rosenthal does. An ERA of 3.44. He's 0-3. So he's not lights out. Up and in, 2 balls and no strikes. However, the Phillies need to get a couple base runners on to bring the tying run to the plate here in the 9th inning.
That's exactly right. They do need base runners. So taking pitches here, forcing him to throw strikes is going to be really important.
There's a strike, and it's 2-1, 96. Balls and 2 strikes to Byrd. He's 0-3. He has struck out twice, and he's popped out to second. Trying to get on base. He's trying to get a couple guys on base to bring the tying run to the plate here in the 9th inning. Two pitch. Opposite way, foul. That's one of the warm-up pitches that Rosenthal threw prior to the inning that nailed Yadier Molina right on the arm. Same kind of pitch. Well, this time Molina was able to block it, but it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. nailed Larry Benover, the home plate umpire. Only to ask him if he's okay. He said, "Yeah, I'm all right." Knocked him back a little bit.
Didn't get him square, but I'm sure that's a heck of a jolt, regardless of what you get.
Benover signifying it's 3-2 because the scoreboard here says 2-2. Swing and a miss, one away. 8 strikeouts today for Cardinals pitching. Third time Bird's been struck out. After the ball game, stay tuned for Ricky Metallico. He's going to break down this matchup between Adam Wainwright and Cole Hamels. Only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Post Game Live, and it's coming up immediately after this one. Dominic Brown is 1 for 3. Popped up, third base side, and that will be out of play. Phillies 9-2 in their last 11 games. Their win last night moved them a game over 500 on the road at 18-17. No matter what happens tomorrow with Kyle Kendrick on the mound, we're a step closer to that because Brown's down looking on strikes. This has been a successful road trip, and no matter what happens, the Phillies on Monday, they have to start turning the page at Citizens Bank Park and start playing some better baseball. Kyle pitched one of his best games, one of the best games of his career here at Busch Stadium a couple of years ago on a Saturday afternoon. It was a complete game. And he's trying to finish off the series tomorrow in a positive way. 2 outs, top of the ninth. John Mayberry, the batter. He's 0 for 3 this afternoon. 1 ball, no strikes. Phillies have taken the first 2 games of this series. They've won 5 consecutive ball games on this road trip. They're down to their final strike here at Busch Stadium, 44,785. A lot of people have left for cover. The 1-2 pitch outside, 2-2. Particularly those folks that are in the deep sunshine down the right field line. Can't blame them on a day in which the temperatures are at 93 degrees. Up high, 3-2. Ball 4. Got a base runner for the Phillies with 2 outs. Cody Ashley is 1 for 3 today, singled and then scored the only run for the Phils back in the 3rd.
Nice to see Cody put a good at bat together right here. Somehow get on base.
There goes Mayberry. He's not being held on. 1-0. That'll be defensive indifference in a 3-run game. See that rule change, though, because in that way there's no force at second base. There is an advantage for the offense, even if it's minute. Ground ball back to the mound. Rosenthal's got it, And the Cardinals have taken game 3 of this series. They win it 4-1 as they scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. 21st save of the season for Trevor Rosenthal. Matt Holliday's RBI double turns out to be the difference in this ball game for St. Louis. So the loss ends the Phillies' 5-game winning streak. And it drops them 5 games under the 500 mark on the season. So our Chevy player of the game was the guy who started the ball game for the St. Louis Cardinals. You figured it was going to be one of the starting pitchers today, the way this game was rolling.
Yeah, and Adam Wainwright and Bump Cole had control of the game, but Adam, again, not with his best stuff today, battled, and when he needed it out, he went to his curveball and his cut fastball. And he got a lot of outs looking, a lot of strikeouts looking, he had a lot of comebackers, and it was a game that the Cardinals just outdueled the Phillies.
So they win it by a final of 4-1. We'll be back to wrap things up for Busch Stadium right after this.